Alrighty, I'm not on campus today, so you're watching this video, and we are just going to answer a whole bunch of questions. I'm clicking the wrong buttons. We're going to answer a whole bunch of questions that go over kind of what we've been working with as of recently. So let's get this started. Okay, we are essentially going to be given a word problem, and we're going to match it to a graph. So this is kind of like what we did yesterday, but we're skipping that part where we have the equation in the table, and I want to show you how to do that in kind of an easier way. So this says a certain cookie recipe calls for 3 cups of flour to make 1 batch of cookies. Which of the following graphs best represents the relationship between the amount of flour and the number of batches of cookies that can be made using this recipe? So if you look, and this is much more clear on your screens on Eduphoria, so please do have that available for you. If you look closely, we can see that each x-axis, that's the horizontal one, is labeled with cups of flour. So I know that the x value is going to be cups of flour. Okay, and then the y value is the vertical axis, and that talks about the batches of cookies on every single graph. So I know that the y value will be batches of cookies. Okay, well this certain cookie recipe calls for 3 cups of flour. So I'm going to put 3 for cups of flour where the x is. So I'm looking for an ordered pair of 3 cups of flour to make 1 batch of cookies. So instead of batches of cookies or y, I can put 1. So we're looking for the ordered pair 3, 1. That means on our x-axis, we're going to travel till we see 3. And I'm hoping to hit the line at 1. This is 3, 1. If I go on in letter B, if I go sideways to the number 3 and I go up, that hits the y-axis at 6. This is the ordered pair 3, 6, which is not what we're looking for, so I know it can't be B. I do think it's A. I'm looking at all the other ones just in case I'm reading the graph incorrectly. I don't want to make any assumptions. And we've got letter C, so I'm going over to 3, and I'm going to just trace that up to the line. That happens at 2. This is 3, 2. And then for letter D, I'm going over to 3, and this doesn't even hit the line. So the line is actually going to meet at 3 cups of flour way up here, which is above 8. So this is 3, and then the y value is something that is bigger than 8. Well, that's certainly not 3, 1, so I know that's not my answer either. So the answer has to be A for number 1. Now I'm going to number 2. I know you guys don't have probably an easy ability to write on your screens, so I would recommend having separate paper off to the side, and you can write that x and y value there. I'll show you on this problem how I would do that. So for number 2, we have a restaurant. At a restaurant, 600 customers were served during a 10-hour period of time. Which graph has a slope that best represents the number of customers that were served per hour at this restaurant? Again, looking at every x-axis, the x value is time in hours. So on my scratch paper for number 2, I can say that x is the time, or the hours. And now I just need to know what y is. The y-axis is number of customers. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is use the information from the story to create an ordered pair. That said 600 customers. 600 customers is y, so 600 is y, and then served during a 10-hour period of time. Time is x, so x is 10. Ordered pairs, remember, are always x, y, so this is going to be 10, 600. Okay, when I look on my graph, none of the graphs have an x value of 10 available. So I'm going to go back here and think, well, what would that look like if instead of 10, I used 5. I cut this in half. I divided that by 2. So let's do the same thing with 600. Divide it by 2. So now we're looking for the ordered pair 5, 300. On my graph, I've got 5, 600. That's not 5 300, so I know it can't be A. For letter C, we've got 5 300, which is exactly what we want. 5 300. Okay. Looking at letter B, I've got 5 60. Again, not what I want. And letter D, 5 360. Not what I want. I want 300. So 5 customers, 300. All right. That was number 2. Now looking at number 3. This says that Oscar buys his lunch in the school cafeteria. The cost of 15 school lunches is $33.75, so $33.75. Which graph has a slope that best represents the average cost of the lunches in dollars per lunch? So, identifying what the x and the y values are. X is talking about number of school lunches, and y is talking about the total cost in dollars. This is number 3. X is the number of lunches, and y is the cost in dollars. Okay, well, this told us that Oscar is buying 15 lunches for $33.75. So the ordered pair looks like 15, 33.75 because ordered pairs are the X number, y number. Okay, so now I'm just looking for 15 on my x-axis, and I see none of the graphs have ordered pair of 15. So I'm going to go back and look at this now. This is tricky because I can't just divide that by 2 easily. I could divide it by 3. I could divide it by 5. I can even divide it by 15. Any of those will work. Initially, when I did this problem first, I picked 5 because 15 divided by 5, I just saw that one off the top of my head. I would encourage you probably to use 15 divided by 15 because some of the 5s and the 3s don't have dots above it. Oh, I guess some of the 1s don't either. I would recommend using 15. There is my personal preference, but you can pick yours. I'm going to divide by 15, so that's going to give me the ordered pair 15 divided by 15, 1. And then 33.75 divided by 15. You can type that in on Desmos, and it will tell you that each lunch, I believe it's like 2.35. So we're looking for one lunch to be about $2.35. $2.35. So I'm looking at the 1 lunch mark. 1 lunch, that's right above 2. So maybe A. I'm looking at 1 lunch. If I had a line here connecting all of that, where would the 1 hit? The 1 hits below 2, like very below 2. So I know it's not $2.35. Answer can't be this one. Looking at the next one, I'm looking at 2 lunches. This is saying 2 lunches is going to be about $13, $2.13-ish. So it's not going to be C. Again, I'm going to make the line here. You could make the line on all of them. Some of them you don't have to. We didn't have to because the dot was already there. The dot for 1 isn't already here, so I have to draw the line, and that is hitting, I don't even think that's at 1 yet. This is 1 and like something that is less than 1. So can't be D, which means this is A. Alrighty, looking at number 4. It says a bottle contains 30 fluid ounces of orange juice and 18 fluid ounces of pineapple juice. Which graph has a slope that best represents the ratio of orange juice to pineapple juice in this bottle? Okay, so I'm at number 4. And looking at the x-axis, I have pineapple juice on all of my x-axes. If you have a paper copy, I forgot letter choice D. Oops, that's okay. Just know on the computer there is a 4th letter choice for you to pick. Sorry. Okay, so anyways, that gave me that X was the pineapple juice. X was the pineapple juice, and Y is the orange juice. Okay, well the story said that we had 30 fluid ounces of orange juice. So instead of orange, I can say this is 30. And 18 fluid ounces of pineapple juice. So instead of pineapple, we can say 18. Now this ordered pair, instead of pineapple, we'll say 18. So this ordered pair, x comma y, is going to be 18 for x and 30 for y. So the ordered pair is 1830. Looking on the graphs that we have, there's not an 18. So I'm going to do that dividing thing again and think about, well, how much orange juice would I have if we only had, let's divide by 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So I divided the 18 by 2. We're going to divide the 30 by 2 just to keep things balanced. So if I have 9 ounces of pineapple juice, we would need 30 divided by 2. You can type that in on Desmos, 15 ounces of orange juice. So now I'm looking for the ordered pair 915 on the graph. So I'm looking at the x value of 9. That touches the line right there, and that is between 4 and 8. So the y value is between 4 and 8, but we're hoping for 15, so this is not it. Letter choice B. Letter B, we're going to start at 9 on the x-axis because we had 9 ounces of pineapple juice. And that should be 15 ounces of orange juice. This is between 12 and 16. Remember, our goal is 15, and we're hitting between 12 and 16, so this is possible. And then looking at letter C, 9 ounces of pineapple juice. We don't even touch the line, and we're already past 20 ounces of orange juice. So I know that this is bigger than 20, but we were shooting for 15. So it's not going to be letter C either. It is letter B. Alrighty, and then number 5. A tree in Dante's neighborhood grew 18 inches in the first 2 years after it was planted. If the tree continues to grow at this same rate, which graph best represents the growth rate of the tree in inches per year? So I'm looking at the x-axis is labeled with years, and the y-axis is labeled with growth. So for number 5, x is years, y is growth. The problem told us that this is 18 inches, so that would be growing 18. And x years, 2 years. So the ordered pair is going to be 2, 18. And when I look at the x-axis, I do see 2 is on every one of those ordered pairs. So I'm ready to look for 2, 18, 2, 18. This is, yeah, that's good. That's 2, 18. Sorry, it's really hard to see the lines on the paper. And then 2, 36. Okay, here I've got 2 answers that have the ordered pair 2, 18, which is what we wanted. So how are we going to decide which one is which? I encourage you to think about this graph is titled tree growth, which means it probably starts shorter and gets bigger. This is saying that to grow 54 inches, it's only going to take 2 years. To grow 90 inches, it's taking 2 years. This doesn't even make sense. If I have this same exact tree after 2 years, how is it all of these ordered pairs? Remember, this is one of those slopes. The slope there is undefined. And that just means that we're not actually measuring the growth here, the growth each year. So the answer is going to be B. Typically on questions where we have the vertical lines or the straight horizontal lines, your answers are not going to be the vertical or horizontal. That is not always the case. So please don't take away from this video that the answer is never vertical or horizontal. It's just not likely. Before I stop the video, I wanted to look at question 8 with you guys. This says that Leonard pays a total of $16.50 for every 6 shirts. The axes aren't actually labeled, but I do notice that the x-axis goes up to 10 and the y-axis goes up to 50. The number that's bigger is the dollars, so I'm going to assume that the y-axis is probably part of the bigger numbers because those are the bigger numbers there. And the x-axis would be shirts representing the smaller numbers. There's a similar question to that on number 10. Sorry, not 10. 6. 6 is kind of the same way. You don't have labels on the axes, so you're going to look at the 3 adults, 45 students. The axis with bigger numbers is probably talking about students. And then I did want to also look at number 10, just because these ordered pairs are a little bit weird. This is really hard to see on my printed paper. So here we've got the x values written down here and the y values. You'll notice that our y value starts at -20 and then -15, -10, -5, 0. So we're actually in quadrant 4 right now, which is this part of the graph. So I do want you to be aware of that. So the ordered pair where this starts at is 0, 0. The ordered pair this ends at is 10, -20. I'm giving you those ordered pairs because that's not going to help you with the answer. So we do have a negative slope here. These are negative values, which means we should have a y value that's negative. Those numbers don't look negative though. There's not a negative sign. If you read the problem, it says an oil well contractor drills a shaft 7 meters deeper into the ground every 2 hours. Deeper would mean it's going down, so that 7 actually is negative, -7 meters and 2 hours. So now you have enough information. You can probably do questions 6 through 10 on your own. All 10 questions are due on Eduphoria. There's an assignment called 8.4b practice on Eduphoria. That is what you're working on. If you took excellent notes during this video, you already have the answers for 1 through 5, so congratulations. Once you finish the assignment on Eduphoria, please do go back and do anything that is missing from Unit 4 because everything closes at midnight tonight and I will not reopen it. I won't reopen it for you. Do any missing work after this. So your priorities today are Eduphoria assignment, 8.4b practice, and then missing work. Sweet. If you have questions or concerns, I'm not on my phone all day, but I am periodically checking Schoology, so feel free to shoot me a message if you have questions or concerns. Thanks.